Hello, cinema friends. I'm your host, Markus Seaberry, and welcome to another edition of Cinesundry. And today we're going to be reviewing a film that's all about the inner workings of I Love Lucy and Being the Ricardos. Now, before we get into our review of Being the Ricardos, I want to remind you about our rating system. There it is. Now, if it's just a top-notch, high-quality film, some of the best work that you've seen all year, it's going to get that first rating of auteur. If it has promise, has potential, but it doesn't quite come together for you, it's going to get that middle rating of middling. And if it's just a horrible, terrible, abysmal, awful film that probably shouldn't have been made, it's going to get that bottom rating of hack. And now that you know our rating system, let's get into the rundown. Being the Ricardos is all about the relationship of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, from their first meeting to the early days of their marriage to the creation of the I Love Lucy sitcom and all the events in between. And now let's talk about the script and acting. I really enjoyed this script. Thought it was clever, in particular the dialogue between Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. It's a lot of sharp wit and nice interplay between those two actors. And the cast was stellar. It was like an all-star team in sports, but in the movie world. First up, we have Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball. She brings it home. She's amazing. You see her as a tough, witty, clever, and determined woman, and you see how she has to hold her own in a male-dominated field. And we also have Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz. He's cool, confident. You see that he's supportive and loving of Lucy, but he's also secretive. And we also have J.K. Simmons as William Frawley, who plays Fred on I Love Lucy. And just another perfect performance by J.K. Simmons. The man really doesn't do bad performances, in case you haven't seen his work. But if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He comes off as stubborn and cranky as Fred, but also very good at his job. Just another great performance again. And they list a long list of just fantastic, outstanding J.K. Simmons performances. And then we have Nina Arianda, who plays Vivian Vance, who plays Ethel on I Love Lucy. And this is a very sympathetic portrayal of Vivian Vance. She comes off as a very brilliant and interesting actor who has dreams and ambitions, but they're kind of hampered by the restraints and expectations of the Ethel character on I Love Lucy. It's a brilliant, nuanced performance, and Nina Arianda conveys that frustration and desperation perfectly. And we also have Alia Shawkat. Now, she plays one of the main writers on I Love Lucy, Madeline Pugh. Now, you may have seen Alia Shawkat in the series Arrested Development or Search Party, and in films like Whip It. She's a smart, sassy, sarcastic, tough character, and she's also not afraid to stand up to Lucy when she feels that Lucy is out of line. And now let's talk about the director's technique. The director of this film is the great Aaron Sorkin. He's also a writer, and he's written and directed just so many interesting and unique properties like West Wing and countless others. And this is another home run for him. Just an interesting film, and it just really captures that feel of old Hollywood. You see the old studios, and you see all the old establishments and the classic clubs and just the old cars. I mean, they just went full in and fully embraced the period piece aesthetic and just went for it. And it worked very well. And now let's talk about sentiment and rating. My sentiment when I finished this was one of being impressed. Again, they chose to go full period piece with it, and it's like a trip through time. It's a nostalgia trip, but it's also interesting because it's peeling back the curtain and just showing you all the trials and tribulations that went with putting on I Love Lucy, and it shows you the pretty blatant chauvinism and sexism of Hollywood at that time. And it is just masterful performances in front of and behind the camera. And this is a master's class in doing a period piece and just giving you that feel and placing you in that world. And so for those reasons, I have to give Being the Ricardos a rating of auteur. This is a top-notch film, people. This is a great period piece, and it just shows you I Love Lucy and the inner workings of that show in a whole new light. I strongly recommend it. Please check it out. And that's going to do it for this edition of Cinesundry. I've been your host, Markus Seaberry, and I'm asking you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, guys, take some time. Treat yourself to a movie. See you next time.